then take back, fold it like that, so that you have your loop. Cut. So I'm repeating the first step. So cut. So you have your 4 strands, and you fold them like that. And then I'm going to insert my needle through here. So I'm going to insert my needle through the loop like that. So you see, and then through the fabric here. So I am going to already insert this. Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Maggie's DIY. In this video I will show you how to make this shaggy rug with mixed colors on a piece of fabric or cloth or t-shirt. So I have used black here because it's more conspicuous, at least you can see it. And then if you are really making your rug, you need to make use of a sewing thread that is as close to your base as possible. So I have used white, but you should use cream or peach or whatever the color of your fabric is. But I will show you how to cover this in the end so that no one will see this. They will only see this. So as you can see, this is quite tight and you can barely see the mark because I have made it quite tight. I will show you how to do this. You do not need to work with single threads. You can mix this. So you're going to need your thread. I have my white. I have my green thread. You need a needle, sewing needle, and thread. So I will use thread to show you how those stitches go, or white, or peach, depending on the color of your fabric or cloth or a t-shirt. You will need scissors. And then you will need the fabric that you're going to use. So I have my fabric here, and this is how it looks like on the underside. So first things first, cut your fabric into the size and shape that you want. Oh, I forgot to mention that if you need to make different shapes, you can use your marker pen. So I am going to have my fabric here. I will cut the size that I want and then show you how you make this. So I will cut just a small piece because this is for illustration purposes only. So I have my fabric, cloth or old t-shirt. And then you're probably thinking that I will work with the white first and then the green later. No, I actually mix these two. So what I usually do, I will bring these two ends together of the two colors that I want. So the green thread and the white thread. And then I am going to measure a few centimeters. So usually when I'm making a rug or mat, I will just measure a few centimeters because it does not consume that much anyway. So I will cut a few centimeters. So this is a double strand. I like to use 4 strands. So I'll just fold this. Make sure that I have 4 strands. So 2 will be green and 2 will be white. If you wanted to mix different colors like blue, green, red, yellow, make sure that you have the strands that you need. So for now I will cut this. So here is the reason why I like to use 4 strands. If I was using one single strand like this one, then I will have to stitch so many of these single strands on my cloth or my piece of fabric for it to be as thick as this one. So what I usually do, if I work with double strands or 4 strands, for every stitch I will have 8. Because I'm going to sew here, I'm going to stitch this, and then I'm going to cut here, and then I'm going to have 4. So this is the reason I like to work with 4 strands. So I have... So actually it's not very long, so I have only a few centimeters. This is what I'm going to work with for now. And then I will have my sewing needle and my sewing thread. I also don't like to cut a very long sewing thread because it's going to keep tangling and I don't like that. So for you to make your work easier when you're making your DIY rug, make sure that you cut short pieces of sewing thread. So I might even cut this further and then make a knot here. So this is how you make a knot. So I have my knot here. So we are making this nice fluffy rug with mixed colors. So what I'm going to do, I could start with folding this. So I said I am working with 4 strands, so that when I cut them it's going to be 8 like this. So I stitch here on the cloth. So I will fold this like that. So there are several ways. One, you can just fold this like this. This is what you're going to stitch here. You can cut this already like that. So you have this. So you have this. So I don't need to tie this or do anything. I'm going to stitch it directly on my fabric or cloth or t-shirt. So I'm going to insert my needle on the underside of my fabric like that, and then pull. And then I'm going to insert my needle through this loop like that. And then I am going to insert through the fabric like this, so that when I pull, this is going to be attached to the fabric. So insert there and then pull through this other side. this. Ta-da! So there. So I have 8 strands. So if these are not equal, you can just loosen because you have not finished, or you can trim later. So I will have this, and then to make sure that this does not come loose, I am going to insert my needle through the first hole like this to this side, and then pass the sewing thread over this like that, and then insert my needle through this other hole, and then pull like that, so that it's tight enough and it's not going to come loose. So it's talking about that if I use 4 strands, then when I cut I will have 8, and this is going to be much easier for me to fill this fabric than if I was using only 2 strands, because then I would have a single strand, because then I would have only 4 strands. So you can either make a knot here and cut your sewing thread, but that is going to be a lot of work. So instead of cutting this, just move in the next hole a few centimeters from where you are, just insert your needle to this thread, to this end, and pull it like that. Then take back, fold it like that, so that you have your loop. Cut. So I'm repeating the first step. So cut. So you have your 4 strands, and you fold them like that. And then I'm going to insert my needle through here. So I'm going to insert my needle through the loop like that. So you see, and then through the fabric here. So I am going to already insert this to the other side, so that when I pull, this is already going to be attached tightly to the fabric. So here you are. So here you are. And to repeat that and make sure that this is tight enough, you turn your fabric to the other side, insert in the first hole, this one. This was the first hole. There it is. Pull. And then make sure that your sewing thread and needle go over this, and you insert in this hole. Ta-da! So there you go. So in the end, for now, don't mind about the length. You can always cut all this later. But I'm going to show you another technique that will help you make sure that all these are aligned and you don't need to trim. So here you have them, mixed colors. If you like, you can already hold this and trim them. So there you are. Repeat the process until you're done. So assuming we are done with this, I want to show you the second technique. So if you want to tie this, just insert, make a knot by looping your sewing thread around your needle like that, and then pull. So as you can see, it makes a loop. And then I'm going to repeat that. So you insert your needle in your fabric or the thread like that, make a loop like that. You can take it round twice and then pull. So that is technique number 1. So we are making progress, but we are only at 2. The second one is where you do not have to cut this thread every time. So what you're going to do is make sure that this is, you can even draw this line to show that this is where you are going to be stitching your thread. So you hold like that, and then you loop like that, and then you loop again like that. Make sure that this distance equals this distance. So you like that, and then again you loop like that. So far so good. If you have a hot glue gun like this one, it is going to be very easy for you, because all you need to do is put a drop, make sure that sticks, there sticks, make sure that, ooh, make sure that all the threads are stuck on the fabric. So that's all you need to do, and then you are just going to cut these ends. These ones you can already trim. So there you are, needle like that, so that this distance equals this, and then I'm going to loop this. So assuming that's all you need, So do not cut anything yet. Take your needle and your sewing thread, make a knot. So you have done your loops on your fabric or cloth or t-shirt, and they look like this. So far you have not cut anything, so hold this like that. Now you need to make sure that you sew across this line. If you have a sewing machine, just put it and pull through. In the meantime, you're using a sewing needle like this. So I will just make a back stitch. So I will insert this here and then through here. So I am using black because it is visible with these colors. So like that. Then I will go back to that hole. Then I'm going to come out here. So as you can see with this thread, when I pull, those have been held together. And then I'm going to insert here again. I'm going to insert through here so that this thread is going to hold this thread together. So I'm going to insert this through my fabric like that. And then I'm going to pull that. So let me show you. So when you pull, you see those ones have been held together like that. If you like, when you're done going this way, you can go back. So in case you lose track, just go back and size them like that. So make sure that all the threads, the white and green threads, have been tied close to the fabric. So you insert your needle here and then through this line, and then you're going to pull. So that has been held in place. And then you insert your needle like this, and then through this hole. Just making sure that everything is okay and the same size. So if you pull that like that. So when you're done stitching your loops, they are going to look like this. We have not cut yet. And the underside is going to look like this. So make sure that you tie your sewing thread so that it does not come loose. So insert and then cut. And now here comes the fun part. So as it is, it does not look like this. So what we need to do is cut through this. So what we need to do now is cut this and this and this and this. And then there you go. So this now looks like this. So if you're using a color that is not so visible, so I was using black so that you can see how the stitches look like, and also when I was looping how it looked like. But if you're using a color like white, then it's not going to be visible. You see, for the glue gun, it's not visible. You just see that it is stuck to the fabric, cloth, or t-shirt, but it's not visible. So this is how I made this. So you see the stitch. I have the back stitch, this one, and this one, and this one. So this one is very full. So all you need to do is to draw maybe another line close by, so that by the time you're done, and then it's going to be fluffy and full like this one. So to make such a fluffy rug that has multiple colors, you don't need to use one color at a time. So, and we are making this fluffy rug using fabric, sewing needle, and sewing thread. So I will use black so that you can see how I do the stitches. And then scissors for if you want to cut a different shape from this one or fill different colors. And a marker pen if you need to draw different patterns on your fabric so that you can make the rug that you want. So what I usually do, I will have my green and white yarn. So what I do, instead of working with one strand of each color at a time, I will take both threads. I will take the white thread and the green thread, and then I am going to make a double strand. So a double strand is easier to work with, because if I was working with only one strand, then I would need to make so many stitches like this. I will need to make so many stitches. But if I work with 4 strands, let me show you. If I work with 4, so if I have 4 strands like this one, and then I fold this like this, so it's going to be super fluffy like this one once I cut these ends, and then I don't have to make so many stitches. So I work with 4 strands. So first of all, I have held my 2 strands of different colors. So don't cut a very long. Don't cut it long. Just a few centimeters will work for you so that it does not keep tangling. So this is what I have, a few centimeters of 4 strands. So 4 strands means I have 2 greens and 2 whites. So what I will do with my needle of thread, I will make my marker pen, and then I will mark a straight line. So this is another way of making the mat. I have showed you 2 more ways. So I will make loops like this. Make sure that the distance between this and whatever is going to be on this side is equal. So make a loop like that. So I have that. I need to stitch across my line. Remember where my line was? So my line was there and that. So I need to stitch across this line, and then I will cut this much later. So I have made a knot on my sewing thread. So what I will do is make a temporary stitch to hold all these loops in place. Alternatively, you can just hold the first one like that and then let the others go. So I will make a temporary stitch called tacking stitch. So insert your needle on the underside of your fabric like that, pull, and then make sure that you insert the needle on top of this green and white threads like that, and then you out on that side. So this will make sure that this black thread will cover the, so that's the first one, and then you need to make your other loop like that. So make sure that your needle goes above this. So make sure that your needle, which is carrying the black thread, goes across this, so that is going to cover this, and stick it to the fabric. So I'm going to repeat that again. So let's push them closer. So I'm going to insert here. So I'm following this line, insert there, and then a bit out there. So there you are. So this is temporary, and as you can see, they can move. We will repeat this stitch so that these threads are tightly stitched to the fabric. So we make another loop. So above again. So this is another trick. So you're finished with your temporary loop. If you like, you can adjust your lengths now, but you need to make this permanent so that the threads don't come off when you are done with your rag. So you can do back stitch. So back stitch, you always go one hole behind and then you insert like that. So if you want to know how to do the back stitch, please watch this video in the corner. And then cut. And now here comes the fun part. So as it is, it does not look like this. So what we need to do is cut through this. So what we need to do now is cut this and this and this and this. And then there you go. So this is how I made this. So you see the stitch? I have the back stitch, this one and this one and this one. So this one is very full. So all you need to do is to draw maybe another line close by, so that by the time you're done, and then it's going to be fluffy and full like this one. Please watch Maggie's DIY rugs. It's the playlist I have put in this channel. It has all sorts of shaggy rugs and how to make them, like this one. So this is when you mix colors and then you're making this shaggy rug on a fabric like this one or cloth. And then you will see also the video on how to make such a fluffy rug while also using fabric. And then there is how to make this fluffy rug. It looks like the one I had made on sack, except that I made this using a cloth or fabric. So I will show you how to make this also. Also, there is a video on how to make a shaggy rug using the mat mesh, different types of mat meshes, and also how to use a crochet. Like if you do not have the fabric and you do not have the sack material and you do not have the mat mesh, then you can use just your thread alone. And in that case, some of the tools you might need. So some of the tools you might need when you want to make your DIY rug could be the normal crochet, especially if you're not using any of the mat mesh or sack or fabric. You will need to use only this crochet, or you can use this latch. Yeah, sorry, I got colored from my pen. So you can use this latch crochet. This is when you have a mat mesh like this one, and then you might need sewing needle and sewing thread when you're using fabric. or cloth or t-shirt to make your shaggy rug. So watch this playlist if you want to see how you can make your fluffy rug, your mat, your DIY rug, whatever you call it. So watch this playlist to see how you can make whatever you want. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and comment. If you're facing any challenges, please leave a comment. If your rug came out nicely, please show us and leave a comment in the comment section. We can actually put some of those comments on Facebook, on my Facebook page and Facebook group, or Instagram or Twitter called Maggie's DIY World. So if you cannot attach an image on YouTube on the comment section, just join Facebook, my Facebook group, Maggie's DIY World, also Facebook page, Twitter, Instagram. They go by the same name, Maggie's DIY World. So you can post there your comments or your images and encourage each other.